Cheers. Give me that, okay. I have to use it, yeah? Okay, all right. So I'm very traditional in this sense. I have to use papers. I can't use PowerPoints because, me and technology, we don't get along, right? I'm of the second wave, the second wave of evolution. All right, that's a joke, okay? That's hippie talk. Anyway, so what do I mean by deep work and the body? Deep work and the body is inside of self-development. A lot of people get into self-development, and what they want to achieve from self-development is their goals and, financial stability, maybe a better status quo, yeah? Maybe a better job, maybe a better social circle. This can happen through traditional self-help, traditional self-development. We can reach, a myriad of things that we want. However, there is a twist to it. We all have this feeling of achievement. We feel like we've achieved things. I'm not the most, the best achiever. However, I've achieved things that I wanted to achieve. Among those are a better social circle. I used to be a very introverted person. In fact, I have social anxiety. I suffer from, more specifically, social phobia. And this social phobia translates, it is manifested in, heart palpitations when I talk to people, when I'm in contact with people, when I feel like someone is just, looking at me, even though that's not reality itself, but I feel like, oh, maybe they're judging me. And I'm like, oh my God. I start shivering. I go into a very introverted downward spiral. I start feeling things, that I shouldn't feel in the moment. They're very, out of context, It's like very terrifying, the feeling of death. That's social phobia, all right? What I mean by this, I'm going to talk a little bit like a hippie. There are energies that govern our nervous system. The nervous system is a bundle of nerves, yeah? The nervous system is, is an extension of the human brain. A lot of people think that the brain is just here. No, the brain is the whole extension into the body. And the body is actually, a second brain. The body is more intelligent sometimes than the actual brain, than the actual neocortex, yeah? The prefrontal cortex, the logical brain. We have an even older, this is why they call it neocortex. Neo means, I think it's Latin, it means new, okay? Something new. It developed recently. However, there are two other brains that are much older. We have the mammalian brain that all mammals have, and the reptilian brain that actually that's the oldest. Right? And it governs emotions. It's linked to the limbic system that deals with the emotions. Okay, so how do we deal with this? What is the first step that we can take? The first step that we can take is we study the human psyche. All right, this is the metaphysical approach, the mental approach. The mental approach is that the psyche is split into parts. The conscious mind, the unconscious personal mind, and the unconscious collective mind, all right? That's another story, but I'm going to talk about the unconscious in general. Carl Gustav Jung, if you know him, he's called the mystic psychiatrist. Why? Because he used symbolisms, and he talked about the shadow, all right? The shadow of the human psyche. What is the shadow of the human psyche? The shadow of the human psyche is everything that we don't accept, whether that be good or bad, yeah, positive or negative. We shove it into the unconscious mind, and it becomes part of the shadow, which is a split in our psyche. And that split creates a sort of like servo mechanism for chaos in our lives. Let's say most of the people who suffer from anger, anger management and all of that, they are afraid of being angry. That's it. It doesn't mean that, they want to be angry all the time. They don't want to be angry all the time. And we have a physical and metaphysical law, which is whatever you resist persists. This is found in the seven Hermetic principles by Hermes Trismegistus. He is considered among the people who built the pyramids, actually. We don't know about this, but this is current knowledge. These are the 7 laws of the universe. All right? So I'm not the one who created this. I'm just like a folk singer of some sort. I'm just singing the thing over and over again. All right? Because I saw that it worked with me. I found out that, okay, so jihad, what do you need to do in order to better your life? You need a social circle. Why? You need serotonin, endorphin, you need oxytocin to survive. All right? Yeah, you get that. You do certain techniques and you're like, okay, so you should do eye contact, do that. Talk to these people. Pretend that you're very confident. But sometimes you're not that confident. You have heart palpitations, but you're like, all right, let's keep this mask, this persona. The word persona comes from Latin, which is persona, yeah, the mask, all right? And the mask is the persona that we wear, all right? We wear this persona every day. We're like, I'm very sad today, I want to cry. But this guy said a joke that I don't even want to laugh at, but I laugh because it's socially acceptable. What is that? It's actually a deeply rooted illness in our society. That is the biggest problem that we are facing. Even though, okay, I've got only one foot in politics, all right? I don't really get involved in politics, but what I'm sure of, even though politics will find as many solutions as it gets, the human psyche will still be the biggest problem because the root of the problem is from man. Carl Jung, and I'm paraphrasing, said that the man is the biggest enemy to man, all right? You are your biggest enemy. If you don't really stop yourself from doing stuff, or if you don't really accept certain emotions as part of you, you will be destroying yourself along with other people, with your loved ones. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to look at the paper because, I'm lazy. I didn't prepare everything. I didn't do the homework. Okay, so the unconscious mind is actually you not knowing what you don't know. Not knowing what you don't know. People walk around with trauma energy. They are walking, they have trauma, shame around sexual fantasies, around anger, around emotions, around tender emotions, mostly for guys, Imagine me crying right now. Ha! How hilarious is that, Oh, a man crying with his beard, He's very hairy and he looks very manly. I don't know, do I look very manly? Yeah? Okay, good, yes, that feels good. Yeah, get back into the matrix. So if you don't accept these parts of yourselves, whatever you resist persists, it will bite you again and again and again, just like a snake. Carl Jung talks about the symbolism for fear. The symbol of fear in the reptilian brain is the fear of snakes. This is why in Harry Potter, the movie, Voldemort is depicted as a snake. And in the Chamber of Secrets, he goes into the depths of the unconscious mind, which is symbolically portrayed, and he talks. He goes into a fight against that giant. It's like a snake on steroids, just like also in Game of Thrones. We have dragons. What are dragons? Symbolic vipers and serpents on steroids with wings that shoot, breathe fire and that fly. I mean, how could you make something worse than that? Never. It's the scariest thing ever. Okay? So this is the first step, is to know that there are things about yourself you don't know. That's what lies in the unconscious and the shadow of the human mind. All right, so let's talk about where do we find these emotions. There is a psychologist called Carol Trueman. She wrote a book, and that book is called Feelings Buried Alive Never Die. And it's true. Feelings buried alive never die. They are stored in the nervous system. there is a new branch in psychology and all of that. It's called neurosomatics. Neuro comes from neurons. Soma comes from the Greek word which means body. All right? Let's analyze mammals a little bit. Cats and dogs and humans. All right? Sometimes we act like them. You know, sometimes they say a human can have the characteristics of a dog except for loyalty. I took this, this line from Snatch. Good old Guy Ritchie, innit? Yeah? It's a good one, innit? You like it? Good. So, what do I mean by that? It's if you go living your life with feelings buried inside of yourself, you will become like an uncontrolled animal. Why? Cats, when they get very aggressive, what do? They contract the muscles of the back. Dogs do the same. And humans, you find this in boxing as well. This is very muscular tension. When a human is very angry, the muscles of the back are contracted. And that's to convey aggression symbolically as well, corporally and symbolically. So we also get heartbreaks. Well, how do we feel that? We feel that in the heart. Even in all religious and, excuse me, I haven't drank a lot. So even if we have, for example, things that we couldn't, think of at that moment as traumatic experiences, we will be feeling the same feelings as we experienced them the first time. Because the first time will never change until we accept those emotions, because it will happen again and again. All right? So how does this manifest itself? Heart palpitations, a rush of energy that we don't understand. Maybe someone makes a joke, maybe a tease, and you get angry over it. And you're like, why am I angry? A lot of people are laughing about this, but I'm getting angry easily. I can't really live my life like this. It's very frustrating. It happens to me as well. It actually happened to me last week. I was with a couple of friends, and then I teased them. They teased me back, and I was like, oh, they're plotting something against me. Yeah? Who feels like that? Raise your hands. Who has this kind of feeling? Do you feel it? Okay. So you must have had some trauma around bullying. Okay? So can I actually interact with the audience? Maybe I get someone to stand up. All right, so I'm going to demonstrate something very weird. You're going to find it very weird, and I'm not a wizard doing that. Okay, who would like to volunteer? Okay, all right, good. Okay, so what I want you to do you know The Vitruvian Man by Da Vinci? All right, good. Only one hand, okay? Good, well extended. I'm going to show you how energy is stored in the body. This is actually neurosomatics, and we all know that the nervous system has electricity in it, okay? Electrical charges. So, now keep it like this way. Good, thank you. All right. So what I want you to do is look at me and say the word yes, and I'm going to use these two fingers. I'm going to try to, lower your hand. Don't let me. Yeah, use the muscles. Good. So say the word yes. Good, okay, good. Now, say the word no. No. Okay, yes, try it again. And I'm going to tell other people, bring other people to try it. You can try it with your friends, and it happens. Now, think about a person that you admire deeply. All right. Yeah, okay. Okay, good. I couldn't. All right. Just tell them do you feel the same power coming from me? Is it the same power? Okay, good. Now, think about someone who makes you feel a little bit weak, and you just like want to punch them in the nose, just like a good old drunken Irishman. Yeah? Yeah. Okay. So think about that person. All right. Okay. Think again about the person, and don't let me lower it. Okay. Good. Good. Okay. So this is how the nervous system. This is in Tai Chi, for example. You see old people doing this. And you're like, what are they doing? Those Weak bastards, come on. But if you go and fight those people, they're going to break your back. All right, so one last quote. I'm going to have to read this quote because I wrote it. It's actually I paraphrased it because I was feeling a little bit lazy. I didn't want to finish it. So this is by Peter Levine. He brought the idea from Wilhelm Reich. Wilhelm Reich is a German, he used to be the disciple of Freud, actually. And he brought up the idea that a lot of people are using the psyche to heal their emotional wounds. However, you can use the body to transcend those wounds. And he said, the feeling of hyperarousal, of always feeling, having energy pent up within you, this may take the form of physical symptoms: increase in heart rate, sweating, difficulty of breathing, cold sweats, tingling, and muscular tension. It can also manifest as a mental process in the form of increased repetitive thoughts, racing mind. If we allow ourselves to acknowledge these thoughts and explore them, they might grow stronger for a while, and we might feel like we're going through a purge. We might feel like we're becoming depressed even more. And it's like, we don't see the end of the tunnel, that's why. And then he said, they might grow stronger for a while, then diminish and allow the body to rest at last with equilibrium, calibrated energy. All right? And I'm going to say this quote by... I'm going to leave you with this, all right? I wish I could finish. Jalal Din Rumi said, I'm going to say it in Arabic and then in English. Can I use Arabic? Okay. لا تجزع من جرحك وإلا فكيف للنور أن يتسلل إلى داخلك. Do not be afraid of your wounds, or you won't let light penetrate you. Okay? Thank you so much. Cheers.